While this podcast isn't rated explicit, the content may not be suitable for younger listeners. Welcome to Sex for Saints, the Christian couple's guide to great sex. I am your host, certified sex and marriage coach, Amanda Louder. This is episode 323, How Much Sex is Normal in Marriage. Welcome to Sex for Saints, a podcast for Christian couples. My goal with this podcast is to help enlighten, educate, and inspire you to understand yourself, your spouse, and your sexuality better. I talk about sex in a way you probably haven't heard before. I'm bold, I'm direct, but I keep everything in line with my strong Christian values. Are you ready? Let's go. Hello, dear listeners. I've been watching the new season of Bridgerton and I have Lady Whistledown on my mind. Hello, gentle readers, but hello, gentle listeners. I am so happy to be here with you today. I'm recording this podcast early in the week because I am preparing for my new class all about the intricacies of women's desire. I hope that those of you who wanted to signed up. And if you happen to miss it, because this is going to air on Friday and the class was yesterday, if you happen to miss it, replays will be available, or I will have a sign up for the next time I do this class. So make sure you go to amandalouder.com/free class if you want to listen to this class, take the class on the intricacies of women's desire. The class is geared towards women and teaching women about desire for themselves, but I think it would be really helpful for men too. So if you're interested in that class, go there to sign up. All right. So let's talk about this question that comes up time and time again. I can't even tell you how many times I have gotten this question. If I had a nickel for every time someone asked me this question, I'd probably be a millionaire at this point. But people are always asking how much sex is normal in marriage. It's a question many couples ask themselves at some point, and a lot of them ask me as well, but you might be wondering this too. So let's just explore why we're so curious about what's normal, what normal actually is, and what to do if you feel like you're outside the so-called norm. So first, let's talk about why this question even pops up. We all want to feel like we're doing okay, right? In a world where we constantly compare ourselves to others, whether it's on social media or among friends or strangers, it's natural to wonder if our sex life measures up. We hear things like, well, my friends got married and they have sex X times a week. Is that what we should be doing? These comparisons can create unnecessary pressure and even anxiety in our own relationships. Emily Nagoski, a renowned sex educator and author, often addresses the concept of normal in the context of sexuality. In her book, Come As You Are, The Surprising New Science That Will Transform Your Sex Life, she emphasizes that the notion of normalcy in sexual behavior and desires is largely a myth. She argues that sexual experiences, desires, and responses are incredibly diverse and individualized, and she asserts that there is no single standard or normal way to experience sexuality. Everybody's body and mind are unique, leading to a wide range of sexual expressions and preferences. And then you get two people together that are different, and they're going to come up with something unique to themselves as a couple. So, you might get one person that has a high sex drive and fantasizes frequently, while another might be content with very infrequent sexual activity. Both are normal, okay? But why do we compare ourselves to others in the first place? Well, the biological reason lies in our evolutionary past. Once again, humans are social creatures, and throughout history, our survival often depended on our ability to fit within the group. So comparing ourselves to others helps us gauge our own status and behavior against societal norms, ensuring we aren't left out or ostracized, because our brain says that if we are left out or ostracized, we're going to die. Okay, this is what it does. So the instinct to compare can unfortunately spill over into our personal lives, including our intimate relationships. For example, Lisa, one of our listeners, shared that she felt pressured when her friends talked about their active sex lives. It made her question her own marriage, even though she and her husband were happy with their frequency. Understanding that this comparison instinct is natural can help us be kinder to ourselves and focus on what truly matters. So, what is normal? Here's the thing. There isn't a one-size-fits-all answer. Studies show that the average married couple in America has sex around once a week, but averages don't tell the whole story. Some couples are happy with more, and some are perfectly content with less. I know, surprising, right? What's most important is that both partners feel satisfied and connected. So consider the story of Sarah and her husband who were only having sex once a month. Sarah was worried that this was way below average and that something was wrong with her marriage. But after talking with her husband, she discovered he was content with their frequency and felt close to her in many other ways. They both realized that what mattered most was their mutual satisfaction and emotional connection, not the numbers. It's also important to note that sexual frequency can vary throughout different stages of life and marriage. Newlyweds might have sex way more often, while couples with young children or stressful jobs might experience a decrease. So understanding and accepting these fluctuations can help reduce anxiety about what's normal. Now, if you're feeling like your sex life is lacking and want to increase frequency, communication is key, as it always is, right? Start by having an open and honest conversation with your spouse. Understand each other's wants and desires without judgment. Sometimes busy schedules, stress, or even physical health issues can impact your sex life. So working together to address these factors can help. For example, Rachel and Tom found that they were way too tired for sex at night, so they started scheduling morning sex once a week. It felt a little bit strange at first, but it made a big difference in their relationship. They both enjoyed the renewed connection and energy it brought to their day. Another couple, Jim and Laura, decided to set aside a specific date night each week, focusing on reconnecting emotionally and physically. They found that anticipating these nights helped build excitement and desire, ultimately increasing their sexual frequency. So what if you're on the other end of the spectrum and having more sex than average? Is that better? Well, not necessarily. Having more sex doesn't automatically mean you're happier. The key is whether both partners are satisfied. So if you both enjoy a higher frequency, that's great. But if one partner feels pressured or overwhelmed, it can lead to dissatisfaction. Take Mark and Emily, for example. They were having sex almost every day, which was a lot compared to their friends. And at first, it seemed great, but Emily started to feel exhausted and less interested in sex. So they had to recalibrate and find a frequency that worked for both of them, ensuring they maintained intimacy without burning out. So it's essential to recognize that more frequent sex isn't always an indicator of a healthier and happier relationship. Quality matters more than quantity. So focus on the emotional and physical connection rather than just the numbers. So if you feel like you're out of sync with what you think is normal and want to adjust, I suggest you start small. It's again about quality, not just quantity. Focus on improving your emotional connection, spending quality time together, and fostering intimacy outside of the bedroom. Sometimes non-sexual touch and affection can naturally lead to a more fulfilling sex life. But if you go into it with the goal of increasing your sex life, probably going to backfire on you. So for example, Jennifer and Matt felt like their intimacy was lacking. So they started by holding hands more often, giving each other hugs and kisses throughout the day, and spending uninterrupted time together each evening. These small gestures helped reignite their physical relationship naturally. Remember, the goal is to enhance your connection, not just meet a frequency quota. So be patient with each other and open to trying new ways to connect. Now, what if one spouse wants to increase the frequency, but the other doesn't. Well, this is a common scenario and can be kind of tricky to navigate. So it's important to approach this with empathy and understanding. So have a conversation about why one partner wants more sex and why the other might be less interested. There could be underlying issues like stress, physical discomfort, or emotional barriers, or someone could be very validation seeking through sex. So there's lots of reasons behind this. For instance, Joe wanted more frequent sex, but his wife, Janet, often felt too stressed from work and household responsibilities. They decided to share more chores, giving Janet more energy and mental space for intimacy. This collaborative approach improved their sex life and their overall relationship. So it's crucial to listen to each other without judgment and find solutions that work for both partners. Sometimes seeking professional help can provide valuable insights and strategies. I love strategies. All right, so what contributes to couples who have little to no sex? Well, several factors can contribute to this. Stress, physical health issues, emotional disconnect, conditioning, thoughts, belief systems, lack of desire, or even past traumas can play a role. Okay, so if you're experiencing this, it might be helpful to seek some coaching to address these. Consider John and Maria, who are having little to no sex due to Maria's lack of desire. With the help of coaching, Maria was able to work through her lack of desire and gradually rebuild intimacy with John. Patience, understanding, and professional guidance were key in their journey. Other contributing factors can include medical conditions, medications, and hormone imbalances. So if you suspect any of these, consult a healthcare provider first. That can be a good step. So what contributes to couples who have more than normal frequency of sex? Well, couples who have more frequent sex often prioritize it and make time for it despite their busy lives. They may also have a really strong physical attraction to each other, good communication skills, and they are very open about their needs, wants, and desires. For example, Megan and John make it a point to have date nights twice a week. These evenings are dedicated to reconnecting and often lead to intimate moments. So by setting aside this time, they ensure they maintain a healthy and satisfying sex life. By the way, their kids are grown and out of the house. Okay. Additionally, some couples might have higher libidos or find that sex is really a crucial way for them to connect and unwind together. So understanding and embracing each other's sexual preferences can actually enhance the relationship. So in the end, the most important thing that you and your spouse feel happy and connected, regardless of how your sex life compares to others. There's no right or wrong number, just what works for you as a couple. So if you're feeling concerned or dissatisfied, talk to each other, seek help if needed, and remember that intimacy comes in many forms. Thank you so much for joining me today. Remember, love is a journey, not a destination. Stay committed, stay passionate, and stay connected. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye. If you want to learn how to apply what I teach you on this podcast, I want to invite you to work with me in my Embrace You coaching programs. In my coaching programs, I teach you all of the skills and tools you need to have a better relationship with yourself, your spouse, and your sexuality. You also get weekly coaching to help you apply what you are learning in your own relationship. For more information, go to amandalauder.com and click Get Help in the menu to see my programs for both men and women. Like what you're hearing on this podcast? Make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. Don't forget to leave me a review and share it with your friends.